What if the reason they haven't come back is because they still feel you waiting? Let that sink in. Right now, somewhere in the back of their mind, they believe they still have access to you. Maybe not physically, maybe not openly, but emotionally. And that changes everything. You replay the memories, you check their profile, you wonder who they're talking to. You tell yourself you're just curious. But deep down, you're hoping they feel the pull too, hoping they miss you enough to reach out, hoping silence hurts them the way it hurts you. And here's the hard truth. As long as they sense you're still emotionally available, there is no urgency, no fear, no pressure. You become safe, predictable, guaranteed. And humans don't chase what feels guaranteed. They chase what feels uncertain. They crave what feels like it's slipping away. Think about it. When something valuable is always within reach, you relax. You assume it will always be there. But the moment it feels like you might lose it, your chest tightens. Your mind races. You suddenly care more than you did before. That's not weakness. That's psychology. Right now, they believe they can come back whenever they want. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday. And because they believe that, they feel no pressure to act. You want them to miss you? You want them to feel your absence? You want them to question their decision? Then you have to remove the safety net. Not by blocking them in anger, not by posting things to make them jealous, not by sending emotional paragraphs, but by doing something far more powerful. You stop giving them emotional access. You stop reacting to their breadcrumbs. You stop watching every move. You stop making your energy available for free. Because energy is felt, even in silence. If you're still emotionally hooked, they sense it. If you're still hoping, they sense it. And when someone senses they still have you, they relax. Desire drops in comfort. But tension creates attraction. When your messages become shorter, when your responses become slower, when your presence becomes less predictable. Something shifts. They notice. At first, they won't say anything. Pride is strong. Ego is louder. But internally, a question begins forming. Why does it feel different? That question grows. It lingers. It whispers when they're alone. Because now, for the first time, they feel something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. And uncertainty is powerful. It creates curiosity. Curiosity creates emotional movement. Emotional movement creates action. But this only works if it's real. If you're pretending to detach while secretly obsessing, it leaks. It shows in subtle ways. A quick reply, a random like, a late-night message, small signals that say, I'm still here. And the moment they feel that reassurance, the urgency disappears again. This isn't about playing games. It's about reclaiming your emotional center. You were not meant to orbit around someone who chose to walk away. When you pull your energy back, you're not punishing them. You're protecting yourself. You're saying, without words, access to me is not automatic. And that shift is magnetic. Because now, instead of you wondering what they're doing, they start wondering about you. Instead of you feeling the silence, they begin to feel it. And silence, when it's real, is loud. The moment they sense that you are no longer emotionally waiting, that you are no longer reacting, that you are no longer available on demand, the dynamic changes. You stop being the option and start becoming the loss. And when you become the loss, something shifts inside them that they can't ignore. The human brain is wired to fear loss more than it values gain. That's not poetry. That's biology. When they start to feel you slipping out of reach, their nervous system reacts. What once felt secure now feels unstable. What once felt guaranteed now feels uncertain. And uncertainty creates tension. Tension keeps you on someone's mind. Right now, they might be distracted. Friends, work, new attention, temporary validation. But distraction fades. Silence doesn't. Silence echoes. It grows louder in the quiet moments, late at night, early in the morning, in between conversations. That's when it hits. You're not reacting anymore. You're not reaching. You're not trying to fix what they broke. And that absence forces reflection. When you stop chasing closure, they start questioning their decision. When you stop proving your worth, they start reassessing your value. When your energy pulls back, their mind leans forward. Because the story changes. Before, they felt chosen, desired, pursued. Now they feel unsure, and the brain hates unfinished emotional business. It craves resolution. It wants certainty. It wants to restore control. But control is no longer theirs. This is where most people sabotage everything. They feel the shift. They sense their ex getting curious. A random like, a small message, a subtle check-in. And the moment that happens, they explode with excitement. They respond instantly. They over-explain. They reopen emotional doors too fast. And just like that, the tension dies. The mystery disappears. The power resets. You cannot reward breadcrumbs with a feast. If they test the waters, you stay calm. If they reach out, you stay grounded, not cold, not rude, just steady. You are not trying to win them back anymore. You are deciding if they deserve access again. That mindset alone changes everything, because attraction grows in space, but respect grows in standards. When they see that you are no longer desperate for their attention, something deeper activates. They begin to feel competition, even if there is none. They imagine others noticing you. They imagine you evolving without them. They imagine missing out. And fear of missing out is powerful. It triggers urgency. It whispers, act now or lose forever. But this only works if your detachment is real. Not performance, not strategy, real. You stop checking their page. You stop asking mutual friends. You stop replaying old conversations. You shift that energy back to yourself. You rebuild. You train your body. You sharpen your mind. You expand your world. You reconnect with ambition. You remember who you were before you made someone else your emotional center. Growth is magnetic. Confidence is silent. And when someone sees you rising without them, it forces a painful comparison. The version of you they left versus the version of you now. That contrast creates cognitive tension. They begin to question their judgment. They begin to rewrite the narrative of the breakup. Maybe they were wrong. Maybe they acted too fast. Maybe you weren't the problem. That internal conflict pushes them toward action. Because humans resolve tension through movement. A message, a call, a casual check-in that isn't casual at all. But here is the real shift. You are no longer doing this to get them back. You are doing this to become unshakable. And that energy cannot be faked. When your happiness no longer depends on their return, you become powerful. When you are okay with them never coming back, you become dangerous. Because now, if they return, it's not because you begged, it's because they felt the loss. And if they don't return, you still win. Because the person you are becoming does not chase what walked away. They attract what aligns. And the moment you truly understand that, you stop waiting. You start ascending. You start ascending, and suddenly the breakup is no longer the center of your story. You are. That shift is everything. Because the moment your focus turns inward, your energy changes, your posture changes, your tone changes. You stop moving like someone who lost something. You move like someone who released something, and people feel that. They feel it in the way you respond. They feel it in what you no longer tolerate. They feel it in the calm you carry. Calm is power. Most people operate from emotional chaos, reacting, explaining, defending, proving. But when you become steady, when you stop needing validation, you create contrast. And contrast creates attraction. Your ex remembers the version of you that wanted answers, the version that tried to fix everything, the version that fought to hold on. Now they see distance, growth, silence. That contrast hits harder than any message ever could, because now they are the one unsure. They are the one questioning. They are the one feeling the gap. And the brain hates gaps. It tries to close them. It replays memories. It highlights your best moments. It softens your flaws. It magnifies your absence. That's how memory works. Distance filters reality. What once felt ordinary now feels rare. But here is where the stakes rise. If you break now, you lose everything you built. One emotional late-night message can reset weeks of progress. One impulsive confession can erase the mystery. One moment of weakness can hand the power back. And power, once surrendered, is hard to reclaim. This is the test, not whether they come back, but whether you stay disciplined when they do. Because when they reach out, it won't always be dramatic. It may be subtle, casual, a simple, hey, a random reaction, a check-in that feels harmless. It's not harmless. It's a probe. They are measuring your availability, testing your emotional temperature, looking for signs that the door is still wide open. And if you swing it open too fast, they relax again. But if you stay composed, if you respond without eagerness, if you keep your world moving forward, something powerful happens. They lean in. Not because you ask them to, because they feel they might lose you. Loss creates urgency. Urgency creates pursuit. But this only works if your life is actually expanding. You cannot fake momentum. You must build it. Wake up earlier, train harder, learn something new, reconnect with ambition, strengthen friendships, strengthen your body, strengthen your discipline, become someone who is too focused to chase someone who walked away. When your days are full, your nights become peaceful. When your purpose grows, your attachment shrinks. And when your attachment shrinks, your value rises. Because you are no longer operating from fear. You are operating from choice. That is the ultimate shift. You don't need them back to feel complete. You don't need closure to move forward. You don't need their validation to confirm your worth. And when they sense that, it unsettles them. Because now, coming back is no longer about you chasing. It's about them qualifying. They start wondering if they still have access, if they still matter, if they still have a place in your evolving world. And suddenly, the person who once felt certain becomes unsure. The one who walked away starts walking back. Not because you begged, not because you waited, but because you transformed. And here's the truth that changes everything. Whether they return or not is no longer the point. The real win is who you became in the process. Unshakable, focused, grounded, high value. When you reach that state, you don't chase love. Love chases you. And if they come back, it's because they felt the absence of someone they can't replace. If they don't, it's because they were never aligned with the person you're becoming. Either way, you rise. Either way, you grow. Either way, you win. Every step you take now matters more than ever. Every choice, every action, every single moment of restraint compounds into a force they cannot ignore. The person who once left your life begins to notice the subtle shifts, how your energy feels different, how your presence commands attention without needing validation. They feel it in the pauses between your responses, in the calm you carry, in the unshakable way you move through the world. That energy is magnetic. It pulls without touching. It attracts without chasing. And it forces reflection, even when they pretend not to notice. When you stop seeking approval, they start seeking you. When you stop filling the gaps, they begin obsessing over them. When your focus turns to growth, purpose, and your own fulfillment, they can't help but measure themselves against the version of you that is untouchable, thriving, relentless. That comparison gnaws at pride. It challenges ego. It creates an itch they can't scratch, a question they can't answer. Did they make a mistake? Was walking away the wrong choice? And that question grows louder every day. Memories that once seemed insignificant now feel vivid. Laughter, shared moments, intimacy. They resurface like ghosts, impossible to ignore. The mind does not tolerate gaps in what it perceives as valuable. Emotional absence becomes louder than presence. Every silent day, every space you create without them, builds a crescendo of longing they cannot control. But this is a test of discipline. Temptation will appear. Impulses will strike. A notification, a message, a memory triggered by a song, a smell, a familiar place. The instinct is to react, to break the tension, to regain control. But control is yours to wield, not theirs. One rash move can reset weeks of momentum. One uncontrolled word can erase the power you've built. To succeed, you must resist. To win, you must hold your center. Your restraint communicates value far louder than desperation ever could. It tells them that access to you is earned, not given. It signals that your energy, time, and attention are precious. That subtle message, silent, consistent, undeniable, is what triggers pursuit. Humans respond to scarcity and high value instinctively. When they feel they might lose the person they once underestimated, a powerful force drives them to act. They lean in, they test boundaries, they seek what is no longer freely available. Every step you take toward yourself amplifies that effect. Each hour spent on personal growth, each skill learned, each ambition pursued, expands your aura. Every physical and mental upgrade raises the stakes. You become a benchmark, a standard, a prize they begin to crave without even realizing it. Their mind rewrites the breakup story, reframing you as the loss they cannot afford to ignore. Desire is no longer optional. It becomes necessary. And yet, the real transformation is internal. You are no longer defined by who left, by who ignored, or by who doubted you. You are defined by the life you create, the power you harness, and the version of yourself that refuses to settle. That internal shift radiates outward. It commands attention. It reshapes perception. It ignites longing in ways words never could. They begin to question if they ever truly knew you, if they ever fully appreciated what they had. That uncertainty grows into urgency, and urgency compels action. But here lies the ultimate truth. You are not chasing them. You are chasing your own excellence, your own freedom, your own identity. They come back, or they do not. That outcome no longer defines you. Your rise is inevitable. Your power is undeniable. Your value cannot be negotiated or diminished. When they sense the unshakable, relentless version of you, it triggers something primal. The need to reclaim, to pursue, to test if what slipped away can return. This is the culmination of every choice you've made, every moment of self-control, every day of growth, every instance you refuse to react out of need. The energy you carry now is irresistible because it is authentic, unforced, and profound. Whether they come back or not, you have reached a state where nothing outside can dictate your worth. You are magnetic. You are untouchable. You are the prize. And anyone who tries to walk back into your life will do so because they feel the absence of something they never realized was impossible to replace. This is where desire becomes pursuit, where curiosity becomes action, where emotional gravity flips and the universe responds to your power. This is the point where you no longer hope for their return. You command it by existing at your highest frequency. Nothing can diminish this energy. Nothing can resist it. You have transformed absence into attraction, silence into tension, and personal mastery into magnetic force. And in this space, the person who once walked away finally sees what they lost, and it ignites an unstoppable drive to reclaim what is no longer theirs for the taking.